Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Red Men TV. It is the Uncensored match build-up show. It's Champions League. It's under the lights at Anfield, and there's absolutely no fans there to enjoy this one. I am joined by John Machin and by Ross Chanley to preview the game against FC Midtjylland. It's going to be really, if it's not weird enough this season watching the Champions League under the lights, John, with no fans, it's just going to be painful, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. And you look at, well, I'll look at it and I'll worry that it'll still be that way in 6 months' time when it gets down to the business end, which is when you really want to be there, those great nights with the place packed out. Tomorrow wouldn't be one of those. We'd go along expecting to win. And it'd just be a nice, comfortable night. At least that's what we'd think. But yeah, it will be strange.
Yeah, they gave Manchester United a little bit of a bloody nose back in, I think it was like 2016 or something, in the Europa League round of 32. They managed to beat them 2-1, but then lost the return like 5-1 to Manchester United. Now, Ross, there's a side, Steven Gerrard's Rangers side knocked them out of the Europa League qualifying, I think it was last season, 7-3 on aggregate. They obviously get beaten by 4-0 by Atalanta at their home ground in the first round of these Champions League group stages. This is a side that Liverpool should be beaten, and this is a side that Liverpool should be beaten regardless of whether they play the first team or not. It's obviously no one really watches the Danish Super League. Everybody knows that. But this is a team in FC Midtjylland that everybody should know the story of. I mean, they use analytics more than pretty much any other team in Europe, or they started the analytics trend. The guy bought Brentford, then he bought FC Midtjylland. They go on and he takes them to win the Danish Super League. And a lot of long throw-ins is something that we've seen from FC Midtjylland. And they're using shot quality analysis, and they use XG. And they've got an analytics department that's catapulted them to the top of their division. But regardless of all that, Ross, Liverpool have to go and beat this team at Anfield.
Yeah, it's a case of how they apply themselves. Like you just said, whoever starts, apply yourself, don't get complacent. And it's a good chance for Liverpool, because the way when Ajax to get 6 points on the board. That's what the lads should be thinking. It puts us in a really good position to qualify for this group as early as possible. That's the ideal situation. That's kind of what you want. And it's not as easy as people think. I don't watch the Danish league, as you just said. I don't think any of us do. That doesn't make them shit. You know what I mean? They won't be pushovers. I think the really interesting thing from this will be, and I said this last week as well, before the Ajax game, is having no fans there might benefit the away side. With Shakhtar went to Real Madrid last week and it ended up 3-3. But for the first half, you like to think that's the huge part of that was no pressure on Shakhtar. There isn't 80,000 Real Madrid fans surround them, and equally, for Midtjylland, there won't be 50,000 Liverpool fans roaring, cheering on Liverpool for every kick and booing every ball that they have. I'm sure they want to play in that situation, because that's why you're playing in Champions League. You want to play at the best stadiums, in the best atmospheres. But when it comes to doing the work on the pitch, I think that slightly benefits them. I'm not saying Liverpool will capitulate and we won't be able to get over the line, but I think there's a huge amount of this football where the Champions League in the group stage is not having away fans not having home fans will benefit the away teams in some occasions.
John, would you rotate heavily for this fixture?
No, I wouldn't. Like Ross said it just before, this is a chance to get 6 points on the table for the, and we probably 9 points is probably what we need, and maybe 10 to qualify. And the sooner you get there, the better. Then you can relax and play, second string players. In my view, I can see the temptation to maybe play some of the other players, but for me, I'd just go out with the strongest team. I'd try and get 3 or 4-0 up by the hour mark, and then you can start to rest people then. I think we should just treat them as though they're the best side in Europe and get out there and batter them.
Trick Josh has just sent in a super chat. Thank you very much. Could you just repeat that one for us? It just flashed off my screen just then, mate. But yeah, we'll get to that. Hi, Redman. I hope that Jota and Thiago play. John, we obviously played Saturday night late. We're playing Tuesday, and you'd still go strong.
I would. simply because I think the 3 points. I mean, every year we made an absolute mess of qualifying. We've been struggling to get the win in the last game to make sure we get through. It would be really nice to have it all boxed off before Christmas. We can. I think we play Atalanta next, don't we? Away, which is a really tricky game, and if we lose that, and we've maybe dropped stupid points at home in this one, then again we're struggling. So get 6 points on the bag in the bag, and then relax after that.
I think you have to take. Sorry, Chris. The use of five substitutes in this game as well. I think I forgot about it until John was just talking. And you can afford to go really strong in this game, but still make those changes, and you can still rotate. You can be an hour into the game, and make 5 substitutes there or thereabouts. You got 3 times to use your subs. That's huge, particularly for a team like Liverpool. I don't doubt our squad depth and our quality and what we've got. But you say heavily rotate. If Liverpool rotated 4 or 5 people, with those substitutes, the drop off isn't what it was last season. And I doubt Midtjylland have got the squad depth and quality that Liverpool have got.
And I don't see, Jota and Thiago as like second stringers. They could play, and they're still first teamers for me. So, you've got options there, within the main squad of the team. But I still think we can go strong. I'd certainly like to see our 3 main forwards on the pitch, banging in a few goals early on.
Tell you what, we're going to take a very short advert break, and when we do come back, we will be discussing our thoughts for the starting 11 for this game, because it's going to be so interesting as well, with question marks over the likes of Matip and Keita, Thiago and Tsimikas, and then obviously squad players that we've not mentioned already, the likes of Minamino, Divock Origi, Shaqiri, Kurt Jones as well could be in some people's thinkings. So before we go for the advert break, I've got a little question for you. Liverpool were retaining possession from throw-ins 45.4% of the time before hiring throw-in coach Thomas Gronemark. What is it now? Now, the reason I ask this is because Thomas Gronemark has been the throw-in coach for FC Midtjylland for a long time as well. So, how often are Liverpool retaining possession from throw-ins? It was 45.4% of the time pre the throw-in coach Thomas Gronemark. What is it after? And why? And when we return, we will look at all those things. But here's a little advert about an incredible book that we've got on sale right now.
The second Redmen TV book, Champions of Everything, is available for sale right now. It comes in 2 editions, the standard edition and the special edition, which comes signed with a custom message of your choice and with a limited edition Redmen TV sticker pack as well. The book is huge. It is A4 size and it is chock full of insight. Photographs from around the world following the mighty Reds, who were reigning European champions, who won the Super Cup, who became champions of the world, and then capped it all off with a 19th league title, becoming champions of England. The book looks at the highs, lows, absolute insanity and bitterness of rival fans, and some of the craziness from our own fan base as well along the way. It is available now on the Redmen TV store. Get involved.
There you go then, get a copy of the book Champions of Everything, co-written by Mr. Ross Chanley, who joins me now, and he's going to be put on the spot. What's the answer to the question?
Okay. 69%.
Oh, it's close.
Oh, is it?
Any improvements on that one, John?
I'd say 65.
Oh, Ross was incredibly close. The answer is, in fact, we've improved from retaining possession 45.4% of the time from throw-ins to a whopping 68.4% of the time. Now that we've got Thomas Gronemark as the throw-in coach, which is pretty incredible, isn't it, really? And it's incredible for me, John, that teams don't focus on this, because losing the ball or keeping the ball less than half the time.
Everyone laughed, didn't they, at bringing in a throw-in coach? And I must admit, I didn't think that what he was doing was helping us to retain possession. I thought he was just helping us to find a way, not to lose the ball at every throw-in like we used to. And to teach people
Which is the same, to be fair, John.
Throw it down the line. That's all I ever want. down the line with the bloody throw-in. But yeah, so that's quite impressive. Yeah, he's obviously worth that new contract.
Absolutely. Okay, so we're going to talk about some of the lineups then, John. Would you? I mean, obviously you're not going to heavily rotate here, and is there? So I can't ask the same question.
I'm not playing Adrian in goal. That's the first thing.
Yeah, definitely deal. Not. Agreed. Definitely Let's not do that. No. But, when there's question marks over the fitness of like Thiago and Naby Keita, Joel Matip. Let's take Joel Matip, for example. Injury room having down as a 50% chance of playing in this game. He didn't make the squad at the weekend. We know how important Joel Matip could be to this Liverpool side. Is he a player that you would risk if there was slight doubt in your mind?
I probably wouldn't, but I can understand the need to get him match practice because he's played one game in about 8 months or something. He does need to get time on the pitch, and maybe against a team who you could call like minnows, who are maybe going to threaten less, it might be a more gentle way of giving him that kind of time. I don't know. It is a bit of a risk. You don't want him. You don't want any more injuries to your centre backs. But I think I would actually play him if he was fit.
Okay, got a couple of super chats on these type of things. Josh saying, I don't think Jota and Thiago are second stringers, John, which is I think exactly what you said. I think they're quality. I want them to play to get minutes and experience with the team. And Nino, thank you very much again for the super chat. Do you guys think we will go back to a 4-3-3 because of the way Midtjylland play? Ross, do you think Liverpool could go back to a 4-3-3 formation in this game?
I think it depends on the personnel. I think if Jota starts, I think you go 4-2-3-1. But I think you mentioned Curtis Jones there. I think I'd probably start in this game. I think he deserves another start. I don't think he did too much wrong against Ajax. I think that was just kind of the way Ajax was set up more than anything. It wasn't working, so someone had to come off, and it was him. I think he deserves another start. So I'd go 4-3-3 with the Curtis Jones in there. But as John just said, those people that you've mentioned that are maybe risks. Again, it comes back to the beauty of the 5 substitutes. Well, go, get yourself a lead, get yourself ahead, and implement those players. You can still get Joel Matip half an hour on the pitch, and it's no discredit to anybody else. And you're setting yourself up for the weekend. Ultimately, you're not throwing into West Ham at the weekend cold. But also, if you start him, I think it's a lot to ask. And there's also a temptation there. I think to do the same with Alisson. Just get that fella wrapped up in cotton wool, because in the back of my mind, I think you said this at the weekend as well. Every time I touched the ball, I was wincing because there's a fear and a doubt in my mind that he'll get injured again, and we can't afford for that to happen. And again, that's not a disservice to Midtjylland. He's our best goalkeeper by a long way and one of our best players on the pitch. I don't think Liverpool will end up substituting him, but I think he definitely starts for the psychological side, and everything that we said on the final word. It's a lot more confident in the back four in him. We are as fans. He knows the system. So I'd stick with 4-3-3. If Naby Keita is fit as well, I think I'd like to see him start as well. I think I don't think he's growing frustration at him. I think it's for him, the fact that he seems to just be in and out the side quite a lot. I want him to have a good run in the side, but you come back to that. Is 2 changes in the midfield too much? Do you necessarily need to do it for this game? On paper, Midtjylland are the easiest side we should play. Can he have half an hour towards the end? And you've got to build these people up towards progression.
That's why I probably would rotate slightly more than maybe John you would, because I think this is the easiest game in the group. I think Liverpool at home, Midtjylland at home for Liverpool should be a walk in the park. Now, obviously, football's not played on paper, so we know that upsets can happen and stuff. But if you're not rotating in this game, and I get what you're saying as well, John. Don't get me wrong. I understand that what you're saying is get the points done so that you can rotate when you're through later on in the season. I understand that. I just wonder whether we should have maybe more confidence in our second stringers, as it were. And the likes of Minamino could start in this game. We've seen he's a Champions League player, Minamino, and he could start for Bobby in this game, I think, quite easily. Jota could, if we're playing 4-3-3, could start for Sadio Mane in this game because we know he's a quality player. And then you've got the likes of Curtis Jones who might be partnered with Wijnaldum Henderson, or you could bring James Milner into the side, whether that to rest Andy Robertson, because we don't know when Kostas Tsimikas is coming back, although rumours are that he could be fit and available for the game against West Ham at the weekend. Can't imagine that he'd be thrown into that game. So do you need to rotate? Would you play the straight front three?
In terms of the midfield, you're always rotating your midfield, I think, if they're fit. The trouble we've had is that people like Navigator's never fit. I mean, if he's fit and Thiago's fit, James Milner, Henderson, Oxlade-Chamberlain, you're rotating that every week, practically. Unfortunately, we're not in that position. Would you trust Thiago in this game, not having played for a couple of weeks? He's probably more accident prone than Matip. So, I would play him as well, but I don't see that really as playing anything less than he's a first team player. I think Curtis Jones is a first team player now. You're not playing Nico Williams. That's the kind of thing I don't think you'll be doing. You're not playing Milner at left back. I think the front three will play, and I think late on he might switch the whole three again like he did last time.
Yeah, and again, Ross is right in saying that the 5 substitutes helps us there, doesn't it? I mean, the ability to make wholesale changes throughout a game of football when we've got 5 days before we play West Ham. I think it is the 5:30 game on Saturday. That should be enough time to rest and recuperate and get everybody fit and ready for that game. So it is interesting. Now, do you want to have a little stab at a starting 11 for us, Ross?
Ooh, what I do, what I think Klopp would do.
What you would do?
Alisson, Trent, Fabinho, Gomez, Robertson, and then I'd probably go Hendo, Gini, Jones in midfield. And I think I'd either play the front three or I'd go Jota, Minamino, Salah. And I can't make my mind up which one I do because the part of the rotation and stuff like that is if that was the team of Jota, Minamino, Salah up front, I don't have an issue with it. If we used to play Thiago, Curtis Jones and Navigator, I don't have an issue with it. That's the standard that we're at now. It's fine, but my preference would be, as John said, I think go strong, get it done, and then just rest those players and, get the boost in the Champions League or get the boost for the league as well. Play the front three, like John said, they can get some goals, get some confidence be more confidence behind them. And, what have you got 4 or 5 days rest until West Ham at the weekend? They're buzzing for, but also you've got an incentive for those people that are coming on. Jota coming off the bench, Minamino coming off the bench, Thiago coming off the bench, Kate coming off the bench. They're brilliant substitutions to be able to have in your locker. Or Shaqiri even. I'd like to see a bit of him as well in this game because, he's been in and out, hasn't he, really? I'd also like to see his name 12 substitutes this week, if possible. That'd be great. But it's
in Anfield, so it should be easier for us to get them all there and to the ground. Whereas I wonder whether that was something from us playing away from home, why we only played 10 last time out.
Possibly, but it's a nice problem to have, isn't it? Long gone are the days where you got a midfield three, the Brexit midfield, as it were, which did a very good job. But now, you can interchange half these players, and you're fine with it. Like Nico Williams, I have to be fine with him. Trent probably needs a rest. Robertson probably needs a rest. If Milner was at left back, I'd be fine with anything. I think I'd be fine with Adrian in goal. To be fair as well, I don't want it, but I think maybe one of these games in the Champions League that he might play later on in the tournament, in the group stage. That is.
So let's talk about a few score predictions before we wrap it up. Then, John, I'll start with you.
3-0.
3-0 to Liverpool.
Yeah.
Excellent.
It's not Midtjylland. I don't think they'll score.
Yeah, I'll go 4-0.
Okay, I'm gonna go 4-1, and I'm gonna say that we go a few goals up and basically make wholesale changes, make our 5 substitutions, and then concede one, something like that. Because I do think that Klopp would use all 16 of his players that he's allowed to use this time out. And just before we go, we've got one more super chat coming from Ashley Frith. Thank you so much, Ashley. Hey guys, just want to say thanks for all your hard work. Love the content. I think Origi may start up front for some reason. Would love to see Taki. I'd be shocked if Origi started up front, so get some money on that. Because if I'm shocked at something, Klopp always seems to do it. And I, like you, would love to see Taki up front and maybe rest one of those front three players. So there we go. That has been the Uncensored Match Build-Up. So get your score predictions in the comments section. John, thank you very much for joining me. Ross, the same to you. And we'll see you for the live watch-along on Tuesday evening. Ta-ra.